From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting, originating from the County Administrative Center located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue, Bakersfield, California. Kern County's vision is to create and maintain a customer-centered county government designed to garner the confidence, support, and trust of the people we serve. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Gleason.
Here.
Supervisor Scrivener.
Here.
Supervisor Maggard.
Here.
Supervisor Couch.
Here.
Supervisor Perez.
Here.
Start off with a salute to the flag, which will be conducted by Madam Kraus. Please remain standing for a moment of silence, prayer, and meditation.
Please join me in honoring our flag. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Counsel, would you reports taken on action in closed session?
Good morning, Chairman Gleason and members of the board. Last week on March 1st, your board heard a closed session matter in the afternoon following the public session. That was item number 77. No reportable action was taken, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. We'll begin with the consent agenda. It's all in the back on this table back there. If you want to grab a program, we'll go along with us. Consent agenda items are an opportunity for public comment. All items listed with a CA or a C above the item number are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. The CA represents the consent agenda for the Board of Supervisors. If no items will be considered first, consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member of the board or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from consent agenda, will be considered in the listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. Any member of the public wish to remove any items off the consent agenda? Oh, yeah, let's go for the numbers first. Starting on page 2, under resolutions, proclamations, CA1, appointments, CAs 4 and 5, departmental requests, airports, items 8, auditor controller, number 9, 10, 11, employer training resource, 12, 13, 14, Kern Medical, 15 through 20, then 22 through 22, then mental health services, 23 through 27, parks and rec, 28, probation is 29, sheriffs, 30 and 31, treasurer, tax collector, 32, 33, and that'll be it. Any member of the public wish to pull any items off the consent agenda? Any member of the board? Looking for a motion.
Motion on consent.
Second. Please cast your votes.
Motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you. Brings us to resolutions, proclamations. Item number 2, proclaim March 7th to the 13th, 2016 as Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Week in Kern County. Supervisor Scrivener.
Motion to approve. Second.
Cast your votes.
Please reconfirm your vote, Supervisor Perez. Thank you. The vote is all ayes.
I'm good. So I'm making a presentation. I'll just ask you to say a few words. Well, good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Multiple sclerosis is an unpredictable and often disabling disease of the central nervous system that disrupts the flow of information within the brain and between the brain and the body. MS affects people between the ages of 20 and 50, and women are nearly 3 times as likely to develop it than men. While there is no known cure for MS, the doctors and scientists are not sure what causes this debilitating condition. There have been many advances in understanding MS within the past several years. That's where the local MS societies come in to bring awareness and to educate and to serve as a support system for those that are afflicted. This past weekend on March 6th, the local MS Society painted Bakersfield orange by tying orange ribbons around the trees of downtown, and will hold a fundraiser to help support local efforts. And so it is my pleasure to present this proclamation to Christine Gronkowski, who is the Community Development Manager of the MS Society of Kern County. And so the Board of Supervisors of the County of Kern, State of California, has officially proclaimed March 7th through the 13th, 2016 as Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Week in Kern County, and this recognition has been entered into our official minutes and signed by our Honorable Chair, Meg Gleason. So here, I'm going to present this to you and ask if you'd like to add a few words.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
On behalf of the National Multiple Sclerosis Society and the 1,000 people we estimate live with MS here locally, I just want to thank you, Board of Supervisors, for proclaiming this week MS Awareness Week in Kern County. Multiple sclerosis is a disease that so few people know about. It's not cancer or heart disease, so we have our work cut out for us. If you're not familiar with what multiple sclerosis is Latin for scars, so people with MS develop many scars on their brain, spinal cord, and or optic nerves, and it basically slows or stops the brain from communicating with the rest of the body. And some of the symptoms are mild, like numbness and tingling, severe, like blindness and paralysis, invisible, like fatigue or pain, and we don't know what causes it, we don't know how to cure it, so the MS Society raises money for research, and we also provide programs and services to our local families affected by MS. I've been with the Bakersfield office of the National MS Society for 7 years, and in that time, when I started, we had 6 treatments for the relapsing remitting form of MS. Today we have 13, and by the end of this year, we're expecting to have our first FDA-approved medication for the progressive form of MS. So we're making huge progress, and I believe we will end MS in my lifetime. I've never believed that more than I do now. And it's because of the community like Kern County that raises money for our Walk MS every year, and also for community leaders like you recognizing the importance of the work of the MS Society. So once again, thank you so much for proclaiming this week, MS Awareness Week.
Thank you.
Can I get a picture?
Right here.
Oh, with you. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Ms. Gronkowski. Next up, item number 3, proclaim March 2016 as American Red Cross Month in Kern County. Supervisor Maggart.
Thank you. Motion to approve?
Second.
Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved, all ayes. Hi.
How are you? Nice to see you.
You too.
Your life has moved along.
Yes,
It's
it
good
has.
to see you. I didn't know that the name was you. Good morning, everyone. We live in a caring, giving community that helps to take care of its own. And what we're going to try to recognize now is an example of that. Our item this morning is to recognize March 2016 as American Red Cross Month in Kern County. The Kern chapters of the American Red Cross began in 1917 to respond to local disasters, and their operations include everything from preparedness and education, to prevention and response to emergencies within our community, to canvassing high-risk fire areas, to provide training and awareness, and even home fire detection, smoke detectors in houses. And I've stood on the corner of a street in Oildale, and it was on the curb outside of where a mobile home had just burned to the ground. The family was absolutely without any resources, and there was a Red Cross vehicle in the street handing out blankets and water and taking care of people. So this is where the rubber meets the road. These guys take care of people. Our American Red Cross chapter assisted 165 local families last year. They have more than 280 local volunteers who donated over 11,000 hours to our community, training more than 4,700 individuals with emergency preparedness and installing 410 smoke detectors. I've done a bit of that. That's a lot of work. I didn't know there were 50 of you standing behind me. I didn't look up. So But you're just representative of the great people who do this kind of work, so thank you very much for that. So I'm going to give this to Amanda, Dr. Amanda Pitzer. So come on up here. I know her from when she was a child. I didn't recognize her as the professional lady all taking care of our community like this, so I'm happy to see the success in your life, and thank you for what you do for us. So this is a proclamation from the Board of Supervisors. We have officially proclaimed March 2016 as American Red Cross Month in Kern County. It's been entered into our minutes on this, the 8th day of March 2016 by as evidenced by the signature of our chairman, Mick Gleason. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your leadership in our community, and thank you for being the person that you are.
Yeah.
Could you make a few remarks and tell us more about it?
Sure. So thank you, Supervisor Maggard, the Kern County Board of Supervisors, and the staff of our County of Kern. The American Red Cross Kern chapter is a vital part of our community, and I appreciate this opportunity to celebrate the good work that our organization does on behalf of our friends and neighbors right here in Kern County. We are on the eve of our 100th anniversary as the Kern chapter of the American Red Cross. For 99 years, Kern County and the American Red Cross have collaborated to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies. We are grateful for the strong partnership we have with our county, where working together, we have faced nearly a century of fires, floods, and windstorms, meeting whatever challenges have arisen and caring collectively for our community's residents. We mobilize the power of our heroic volunteers, whose work is valuable yet priceless, as they help home fire victims recover, brighten the day of an injured service member, and step forward to help someone having a heart attack. On average, our Red Cross volunteers are called every 15 hours to assist a local family in need. These dedicated volunteers deploy at a moment's notice, sometimes leaving their hot meal on the table or waking in the middle of the night to respond to an emergency. There is always someone in need of the American Red Cross, and not all heroes wear capes. We encourage you to discover your inner hero during Red Cross Month by giving time to help a neighbor, making a financial donation to Kern Red Cross, or taking a Red Cross class in first aid and CPR. Thank you for recognizing March as Red Cross Month. Thank you.
So you guys are up front.
Just move over this way. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. Thanks, Mike. Good to see you. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Nice to see you. Thank you. Yeah. Life going okay for you? Good. Good.
Thank you, Supervisor Maggart, and thank you, Red Cross. Brings us to item number 6, public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter not on the agenda but under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask a question for clarification, make a referral to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the board at a later meeting. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. Please state and spell your name before making your presentation. Please step forward.
Mr. Chairman, good morning. Matt Constantine, Director of Public Health. Last week, your board approved the addition of a Billing Office Service Specialist 1-2 position for Public Health and the delayed deletion of a Billing Office Service Specialist 3 position. When I explained the fiscal impact for this position in my presentation, I indicated that the actual one-time fiscal impact would likely be less than what was in the board letter, partly because of the human resources would be unable to quickly give me a name or give me candidates for that position. I want to let you know that before I even returned to my desk, Devin Brown had made contact with me and was ready to provide me with candidates for that position. This is just moments after leaving my presentation with your board. So my comment to your board was obviously not correct. What amazing customer service that is. I want to make certain that your board and especially the human resources staff understand how appreciative public health is and how I am personally with the improvements they've made, and more importantly, their willingness to listen to us and to adapt to the needs of the department. And in fact, Before 8 a.m. yesterday morning, our assigned human resource analyst made contact with me and suggested a further improvement on another recruitment issue I was having. This was even before 8 o'clock in the morning. So I remain one of Human Resources' biggest fans, and I'm committed to helping on further making improvements and expediting the process and putting people to work. So just wanted to make a few comments. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Constantine. I got to second that. I'm a big fan not only of the human resources and what we've done there, but also of all the department heads at Kern County and how great a job we do as a county and as an organization. I'm just thrilled to sit up here and represent the work you do and represent the people in First District, and I'm in awe, actually. Thank you very much. Any other thoughts? Ditto. Any other public presentations? Okay, then I'll close it and we move to board member announcements. A report on the initiative. Board members may make announcement or report on their own activities. Any board member announcements? Okay, seeing none, we'll roll right along to item number 21 under Kern Medical. Request to establish a mid-year major maintenance project for restoration and renovation at the Public Services Building to add storage and office space in an amount not to exceed $350,000. Mr. Judd.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Before you today is a request for us to move some money around, basically. In our budget, we had allocated capital dollars to do some work in one of our radiology rooms. As we have progressed through the year, we have found a greater need to spend that money on some renovations at the Public Services Building on M Street. We've worked out a great relationship in that building. We've moved quite a few of our employees over there, and we continue to take an additional space and need this $350,000 to do some tenant improvements to allow individuals to work there. So it's recommended that your board approve this mid-year major maintenance project for the necessary restoration and renovations at the Public Services Building. That's the end of my report, and we'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Judd. Seeing none, I'll move to the public for comment. Anyone in the public wishing to comment on item 21? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for comments and considerations. Mr. Couch.
I'm going to move approval of that, but I want you to reiterate, I think what I heard you say and what I read is you're not going to spend the money where you thought you were going to spend it. When you establish your budget, you're going to spend it in a different location where you have more of a need.
Yeah, correct. This is not new money. This is just moving it from one budget key to another.
Thank you. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other thoughts? Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you, Mr. Judd. Brings us to Veteran Services Department. Item number 34, Mr. Josh Danins. Proposed addition of one office service specialist position and deletion of one office service technician position effective March 21, 2016 in Budget Union 5510. Mr. Danins.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. This item is for the approval of the addition of one office service specialist with the concurrent deletion of one office service technician in Budget Unit 5510 effective March 21, 2016. The proposed addition and deletion will result in an annual cost of $7,995 to the department, with an increase of $2,767 for the remainder of the current fiscal year. The department will be able to absorb the cost increase in the current fiscal year, and future fiscal years. The addition of the office service specialist position with the concurrent deletion of the office services technician is necessary to correctly align the position with the duties and responsibilities as required by the department. It is therefore recommended that your board approve the addition of one office services specialist with a concurrent deletion of one office services technician and refer the item to Human Resource Division to amend the department position salary schedule. I'll finish my presentation and open it up to any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Danins. Anyone in the public wish to comment on item number 34? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for comments and consideration.
Motion to approve and make the appropriate referrals.
Second.
Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Good job, Mr. Danins. That brings us to the close of this morning's agenda and looking for a vote to adjourn to closed session.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.